Ever have one of those days where you just don't feel like doing anything? You're scrolling through memes, maybe watching random YouTube videos, and you start to think, I should be doing something productive right now. But nah. What if I told you that you can do absolutely nothing and still feel productive? Yep, you heard that right. It's all about hacking your brain, and here's how you can master the art of doing nothing while still feeling like you're conquering your to-do list. Step 1. The micro to-do list hack. You've probably heard a million times that making a to-do list is the secret to being productive. But here's the twist. You don't need a long, intimidating list. Just write down the most basic tasks you can think of. For example, wake up, brush teeth, eat breakfast. Simple, right? And boom, by 9 a.m. you've already crossed off 3 things. You're on fire, even if all you've done is rolled out of bed and stumbled to the kitchen. The key is to turn tiny, everyday tasks into victories. This sets the tone for the rest of the day. Your brain loves checking things off a list, and every time you cross something out, you get a little hit of dopamine. And that's all it takes to start feeling productive, even if you haven't done much at all. Step 2. Intentional breaks equals productive breaks. Here's the deal. Breaks are part of productivity. In fact, taking a break is one of the most productive things you can do. You're not being lazy, you're recharging. You can even turn lounging around into a recovery phase. Now, it sounds fancy, but basically, by framing your breaks as intentional recovery periods, you're doing something good for your brain. So yeah, that nap you took, totally productive. You just tricked your brain into thinking you're working hard. Genius, right? Step 3. The 1-minute rule. Here's a simple yet powerful trick for those days when you're feeling completely unmotivated. The 1-minute rule. Imagine you wake up and don't feel like doing anything. Not even the small tasks we talked about earlier. Instead of giving up on the day, tell yourself you'll work on something for just 1 minute. That's it. Literally, 1 minute. It might sound silly, but this technique works wonders. The key here is that starting is often the hardest part. Once you get going, you'll find that you've broken through the initial resistance. After working for that 1 minute, your brain might think, well, I've already started, so I may as well keep going. It's a psychological hack to trick yourself into action. This rule works because it eliminates the pressure of thinking you have to complete a huge task. Instead, it focuses on getting you into motion, and that tiny step often leads to more progress than you expect. Whether it's tackling a small chore, sending a work email, or studying, the hardest part is always taking the first step. The 1-minute rule makes that first step so small and manageable that it becomes hard to resist. Step 4. Celebrate the tiny wins. It's easy to overlook small achievements, but celebrating those tiny wins can make a big difference in your productivity. Even when you've only done the bare minimum, give yourself credit for it, like you just climbed Mount Everest. For example, if you replied to a single email, that's progress. If you tidied up your desk, that's a win. These small accomplishments may seem insignificant on their own, but they build momentum. Each one gives your brain a little boost of satisfaction, motivating you to keep going. By acknowledging and celebrating even the smallest tasks, you're reinforcing a positive cycle of productivity. The best part? Even if you stop after those tiny wins, it still counts as success. You've moved forward no matter how small the step, and that's what matters. This approach helps you stay motivated and encourages a mindset where every bit of progress is valuable. Now, let's talk about those days when your brain is just a brick and nothing feels motivating. You've got zero energy, and the thought of even starting feels overwhelming. Here's where step 5 comes in. Don't start with motivation. Motivation is a myth. Yeah, you heard me. Most people think you need motivation to start working, but it's actually the other way around. Action creates motivation, not the other way around. Just start with something small. Even if it's just opening your laptop or reading the first sentence of that essay. Once you get going, your brain will follow the momentum. Suddenly, you'll start feeling motivated after you've already started the task. The trick is to make the barrier to entry so low that it feels ridiculous not to start. That's why the 1-minute rule works wonders. You've tricked yourself into starting, and then boom, you're in the zone before you even realize it. Step 6. Break down to-do lists. When it comes to productivity, one of the most effective strategies is breaking down your to-do lists into smaller, manageable tasks. This approach not only makes the workload feel less overwhelming, but also provides you with a sense of accomplishment as you check things off. Let's take an example. Instead of writing study for an exam, which can feel like a massive, vague task, try breaking it into specific, actionable steps like read Chapter 1 of the textbook. Highlight key points from the lecture notes. By breaking it down like this, you create a series of small wins. Every time you complete one of these mini tasks, your brain gets a little reward. These mini successes stimulate the release of dopamine, keeping you motivated. You're essentially giving yourself a productivity high, boosting your confidence and helping you stay on track without experiencing burnout. Step 7. The power of walking away. This step is absolutely crucial. When you find yourself stuck, overwhelmed, or struggling to make progress, sometimes the best thing you can do is walk away, literally, taking a break. Especially one that involves physical movement, like going for a walk, has a profound impact on your mental clarity and creativity. When you're deep into a task, it's easy to get caught in a loop of frustration. You might find yourself staring at the same problem, unable to find a solution. That's your brain's way of telling you that it needs a break. Studies show that walking boosts blood flow to the brain, which helps with problem solving and enhances creative thinking. Even though you're not actively working, you're recharging your mental battery, ensuring that when you return to the task, you'll be sharper and more efficient. So technically, you're still being productive. It's a win-win situation. Step 8. Change your environment. Sometimes a simple change in scenery can have a big impact on your productivity. If you're feeling stuck or unmotivated, try switching up your environment. It doesn't have to be a major change. Just moving to a different part of the room, sitting by a window, or even facing a new direction can give you a fresh perspective. Our brains can get used to routine environments, which may make us feel sluggish or uninspired. Changing your surroundings helps reset your focus and can trigger new ideas and creativity. For example, working from a cafe, library, or outdoor space can provide a different kind of energy and help you break out of a mental block. Even small changes, like rearranging your desk or adding a new element to your workspace, can make a difference. The goal is to create a mental shift by altering your physical space, which in turn can boost your productivity and motivation. So, when you feel like you're in a rut, remember that sometimes all it takes is a change of environment to spark fresh energy and creativity. So, here's the final takeaway. You don't need to do big, heroic things to feel productive. You don't even need to do a lot. Just break down tasks, celebrate every win, no matter how small, and take breaks with purpose. You'll be surprised at how much you've accomplished, even if it feels like you've done nothing at all. In the end, productivity isn't just about doing things. It's about feeling good about what you've done, even if what you've done is as simple as taking a nap or crossing off brush teeth from your list. So, go ahead, take a break, enjoy doing nothing, and remember, feeling productive is all about perspective. And hey, if you made it this far, congrats! You've just completed another task for the day. Consider this video a win on your to-do list. Subscribe if you want more tips on how to crush life by doing less.